Yo, welcome back to Good Game Reviews. Here to do another game review. And today, we're going to look at the Patriots versus the Kansas City Chiefs. My apologies if I sound a little, low. I'm trying to, keep quiet. It's still kind of early, for everybody. But I'm going to go ahead and get into this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just say it. And I know people probably going to get mad, but, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Mahomes lucked out tonight. Let's be fair. The Chiefs as a whole lucked out tonight, because who wasn't even there to play a snap. But just like as a whole, it just seemed like they lucked out. Like from that bad call where Chase Winovich gets the pretty much the strip sack, and they end up calling it a sack instead of what it was. Actually, some people saying it should have been an interception because the ball was leaving his hands as he's falling to the ground, looking like an attempt, like he was just trying to get rid of it or something. I don't even know what he was trying to do, but ball flies out his hands. DJ Wise, I think it was either DJ Wise or Calhoun. I'm trying to remember, but they come away with the ball. They're about to take off, and they just blow the play dead. Now, that whole sequence was just a complete mess. One, they should have never blew the whistle and stopped the play. Two, it should have been a turnover. So at the very least, it should have been a turnover. But not only did they stop the play from happening, but they took away the turnover and called it a sack. And before we could even figure anything out, Kansas City is already punting the ball off. So man, it's like the second year in a row had to deal with some mess like that. It just ruins the game, man. It really does ruin the game. I mean, this game already had an asterisk for me from the get go, but it's an even bigger one after that mess. I can't believe they did it 2 times in a row, 2 years in a row. Unbelievable. But let's go ahead. I like to start with the good. I know I started with some bad, but let's bring some good into this. Let's bring some light into this. Jarrett Stidham finally got a chance to play this season. We thought that with Cam Newton winning the QB whatever, with Brian Hoyer being named, the backup, and Jarrett Stidham, being the third string QB, being a healthy scratch for the couple of the few games that have been played so far, we just thought, Jarrett Stidham was going to have to wait before he even saw the field again. But due to circumstances, Jarrett Stidham found his way on the field, be it bad quarterback play by Brian Hoyer, but he found his way on the field, and on his first drive, he was able to score a touchdown. It started off with a 10-yard run from Damian Harris, who also had a good day, and then after that, Harris broke off with like a long run, a 41-yard run. I want to say, he just took off. I thought he was going to score. I really did. I thought he was going to score. It just looked like they weren't going to catch him. Eventually, he ended up getting pushed out of bounds. I think that's the fastest I've seen any of our running backs, take off like that this season so far. Wow. Damian Harris, man. Ooh, he got some wheels on him. I don't know when Sony comes back, whenever he comes back. Damian Harris. We was talking about J.J. Taylor might maybe taking some time away from Sony because of how well he was doing. J.J. Taylor wasn't even a factor in this game. Now Damian Harris is back. He is here. and he is looking like he's trying to take a couple jobs out here. Um, but as far as Jared Stidham, um, let me get back to Jared Stidham real quick. As far as Jared Stidham goes, he didn't have too much of a bad day. I know you look at the stat line, you see the two interceptions. Um, I would put an asterisk on one of those interceptions. Julian Edelman should have had that ball. I don't care what anybody says. Julian Edelman should have had that ball. It was a decent pass, and even if he gets tackled for a loss or whatever, or if he only gets like a few little yards, like whatever, as long as you hang on to the ball, the drive wasn't over. They could have still did something with that drive, but you don't catch the ball. You let it bounce off your hands, and then not only does it get picked off, but it gets pick six. So that goes back on Jared Stidham's record. Now it's looking like all he does is throw pick sixes. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. Now the other pick, I will say he should have put a little more power on it. But as far as what he did coming, behind Hoyer, he looked a lot better than Hoyer. I'll be honest and say he looked a lot better than Hoyer. Made some better throws, in my opinion. I feel like he should. I feel like he should have start. He probably should have come in a little bit earlier. I think by the time the fourth quarter got there, it was kind of asking a lot. Um, you had to get him in a little bit earlier than that. After that mess that Brian Hoyer pulled, I think after that second sack that he took with the forced fumble, I think after that he should have been gone after that. He should have been on the sideline right after that. I wouldn't even waited after I saw that. Probably after the first one. Probably like when the Patriots were going into the half, and he ended up taking the sack, thinking that he had some timeouts left, as if they didn't call like 3 straight timeouts when they was down there. No awareness. But yeah, Jared Stidham should have came in earlier. Um, Now let's talk about this run game. Damian Harris had a really good day. 17 carries, 100 yards, averaged 5.9 on the ground. Had a long 41. I mean, he had a good day, and he's gonna be taking some snaps. Trust me. Damian Harris can also catch out the backfield too. Don't get it twisted. He can also catch it. He didn't do any catching really today. He didn't do any catching. I don't think no, but he can still he can do some catching. So watch out. He's probably gonna be in line to take a couple snaps away from these running backs. I mean, what a debut. Even with the loss, I mean, you gotta love what you saw with Damian Harris. Um, the O line held together okay. They did nicely. I'll give them their credit on that. Um, it was a big blow to have Shaq Mason, ruled out like before the game started. A lot of people weren't really expecting that. Um, I suspected that they were probably going to put Justin Herron at right tackle at some point. They did. Um, yeah, pretty much like instead of Tooney still staying at center, Tooney went back to left guard. They had Michael Anuma. I have trouble saying his name. Sorry. But they had him at right guard at one point, and they had Ferentz at center with Wynn on left tackle. So they did a little mix up. I know Illumina he was out a few times. He was complaining about migraines or something like that. It was just a whole thing, but they still did a good job. They still did a good job despite the challenges that this O line has been facing. Obviously Bill Belichick wanted to focus on the depth of that O line because he saw what it looked like, last year, and he wanted to replenish that. So I'm not really worried about the O line. I was a little bit worried about it last year. I'm not worried about it this year. It just seems like they have a good group of guys there. Um, as far as receiving goes, Demir Bird was pretty much the best guy out there. He had the most targets his way. Had 5 receptions, 80 yards, averaged 16, had a longer 30. He was pretty much the best guy out there. The most reliable guy in my opinion. I was surprised to see Gunnar Olszewski lining up a couple times. Well, not surprised, but um, surprised at the amount of times that I saw him out there on the field. Now, he did only have the one catch, which was actually a really big catch that led to a first down because, once again, Edelman, he wasn't able to get his hands on the ball. Ball bounces off his hands the first time, and Gunnar just comes in, swoops, and scoops the ball in. He tried to take off and run, but he was already down. But it was the first down after that, regardless. So, good awareness from Gunnar Olszewski. Nikhil got his first touchdown today. Great. He used it. It seemed like he went up. He used his body, made a good catch. Defender wasn't really paying attention. He took advantage of that. Jared Stidham was the passer on that play. That's what you want to see from Harry. You want to see him be able to win those one-on-one battles in the end zone, in the red zone. That's what you want to see, because that was one of the big reasons why they got him. So it was nice to see that, but he has to improve because consistency still seems to be a problem with N'Keal Harry. As far as using his body, using that strength, he's more than likely going to be bigger than the guys that's covering him. He has to use that at some point. As far as the defense goes, I'm not giving any hate towards the defense. The fact that Kansas City only scored 26 points in this game, I'm not giving any hate towards the defense. And I'll put an asterisk on that because one of those touchdowns was a defensive touchdown. So you take 7 away from that. What you got? You take 7 away from that. 19. So what? 19 points scored as far as like offensively, with some field goals sprinkled in there, but yeah, they kept them down to 2 field goals for a majority of the game until like at the very end of the third quarter. I'm not giving any hate towards the defense. Defense did a great job considering all the challenges that they had to endure just from the beginning of the season with opt-outs and everything else. And they came with a plan and it was working. The problem was couldn't get anything done on offense, couldn't capitalize, but no hate towards the defense at all. Chase Winovich still looking good. J.C. Jackson should have had one of those picks. Same with Devin McCourty early in the game, should have had that pick. Usually that's an automatic pick for him, but just slipped through their hands. I don't know. It just wasn't their day today, I guess. Whatever, but yeah. For the most part, they did a pretty good job at covering, especially in Tyreek Hill's case. I know he had the long reception late in the game, so you look at the 4 receptions, 64 yards on his part. But for the weapons that they have, Kansas City has, Travis Kelce, of course, leads them in reception yards. He has 70. But they did a great job considering what all the things that they had to deal with. Holding Clyde Edwards to 64 rushing yards on 16 attempts. I really don't have anything to really complain about. It's just, like I said in the prediction video, eventually they're gonna break off and they're gonna do their thing on offense. If you don't score, eventually they are going to score. So that was just a problem that we had to face. Um, Nick Folk, nothing bad about Nick Folk. One field goal made on one attempt, so good. 43 long, made his extra point. I'm not gonna get on Nick Folk today. I'll let him rest. um, Jake Bailey also had a good game. Down 3 in the 20. He had a good game. I like seeing Jake Bailey have good games. He's close to becoming the best punter in this league. You know, um, I like what he brings. Um, but as far as everything else, I do have to cover the bad. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Brian Hoyer. A lot of people had expectations for Brian Hoyer coming in here being a vet. Thinking all he has to do is pretty much manage this game, don't screw it up. The defense come in, play well. We were more concerned about really like, will the defense be able to contain all of the weapons that the Chiefs have to offer? And you look at the final score and you're thinking, yeah, pretty much they did a good job. They did what they were supposed to do. But Brian Hoyer, I mean, 2 times in the red zone, takes a sack. Once, didn't know he had time. Didn't know he didn't have any timeouts left. No awareness. Also threw an interception this game. Also coughed up a fumble. Once again down the field in the red zone where had another opportunity to put up points. That's at least 6 points that are gone. If they were only able to get field goals, that's at least 6 points wiped off. So I mean, it's just unfortunate. It really is. And Stidham probably should have came in a little earlier, like I said earlier on in the video, but I don't know. Obviously, Cam Newton was missed. He was missed very, very sorely tonight. It showed. It showed with this quarterback play. Neither one of these guys is like truly the guy. If they're saying that Cam Newton can come back by week 5. He's asymptomatic. All he has to do is test negative twice, and he could be back as soon as week 5. Just in time for the Denver game, and that will be a godsend. But if not, I mean, if I really had to go out with a guy who I wanted to start the game with, I'm probably going to lean towards Jarrett Stidham based on how he looked versus how Brian Hoyer looked. It just looked like he just wasn't aware in this game, and it's very concerning that, being that he is a vet. He's been in the league for how long? This guy's like in his mid-30s, been in the league for all these years, been on 7 different teams, and you're not aware of these type of things. I know it's been a while since you started, but still, like, you should know this. You should know how many timeouts you have. But anyway, that's really all I'm gonna harp on. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Obviously, if like I said, everything seemed to really be clicking except for some miscues from our veterans, Julian Edelman and Brian Hoyer. But other than that, it just seemed like it seemed like a pretty nice game. It seemed like every other side of the ball was really doing their job, and other people were doing their job. But it just, once it came to your guys who you really needed to step up, they weren't there. So that was pretty much the name of the game. I mean, you look at the score and you think, oh, they lost by 16 points, but really, I mean, they had a chance to really take away this game. This could have easily been an upset. But, I mean, hey. Yeah, so, anyway, next week, week 5, Patriots play the Denver Broncos. Um, that will be in New England, I believe. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but that will be in New England. Um, yeah, hopefully Cam Newton can will be ready for that game. If not, hopefully they decide to go with Jared Stidham in this next game instead of Brian Hoyer. Um, like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Uh, keep tuned for some more videos. I might drop some more rant style videos. I might do some more reactions, if I get bored. But yeah, just stay tuned, man. I'm trying to upload more content. But until next time, I'm out.